Hello everyone, today I am looking at Left 4 Dead 2, and since I can't find proper gameplay of this game, since there's only one correct way to play it with my personal mod list, I will be playing and reviewing this game at the same time, so excuse me if it's a little bit, slower or whatever, but yeah. So the first thing that you need to know about Left 4 Dead 2 and Left 4 Dead in series in general is that this is Valve's take on a zombie shooter thing. And when the first Left 4 Dead came out, I was like, whatever, I don't really care about this. But you compare it to something like Back 4 Blood, and like the animations are really nice. Like this is a really good zombie shooter, and this was at the top hype point of zombie shooters, and Left 4 Dead 2 as special edition comes with all the Left 4 Dead maps. So I mean, the modern community around Steam games, or Valve games rather, are insane, and I didn't really care for Left 4 Dead at all until I realized I could install mods. So what you're about to see is kind of one of my personal favorite orientations for this game, and we're just going to play a little bit. So I love Coach. He's probably my favorite character. Rochelle, what I actually did, I installed a Russian voice pack in her, so I didn't have to actually listen to her voice lines. So whenever she talks, she speaks in Russian, which is a better version for me, frankly. And Alice is a lot of fun. He's really cool. And what's great about these mods is that they also work with the basic gameplay mechanics. When you go online, I thought that when you go online with mods that everyone sees what you see, or you would break the game, but no, you just kind of have your own personalized experience, which is what I really enjoy. So anyway, let's kind of get into this, and let's get going. And so again, the story in Left 4 Dead 2 is not really anything impressive or super important or special. It's just kind of like, very, very whatever. It's like, hey, there's zombies, you got to survive. And really, it's the characters that really drive home the game and everything. And again, the graphics, for this time, they've really held up over the years, and you just have, a really great, a really great aesthetic, and how everything just kind of feels really good. Out of all my Steam games, I have to admit that I've put the most amount of hours into this game, which is like around maybe 300 or so. It's pretty, and for me that's a lot. Usually I'll play a game once and be satisfied with it, but this is the one game where I've played the campaign multiple times with different friends and people. And so now we're playing as Kyoko and Madoka and all the other magical girls, and we're basically taking down stormtroopers while wielding Ebony and Ivory from the Devil May Cry series. So, just a normal, average, Left 4 Dead 2 day. So what you're seeing right now is the gameplay, how to properly play the game. Any other method is pretty much the wrong way, in my opinion. No, I'm actually factually correct. This is the only correct way to play the game. There's Smeagol there. He took him out. But yeah, no, there's just something about, this setup that just kind of works. Let's see if they run off the edge, actually. Oh yeah, there they go. But yeah, what's really great about this game is usually the zombies will come in hordes. If you kind of dally or spend too long in a single place, they'll kind of all team up and gang up. And again, they'll go down with a few shots, but you can see here the animations of how they move and like fall on the ground are like very detailed and like very lifelike. And it's kind of funny that you have games like Back 4 Blood, which is like, oh, we're the Left 4 Dead 3 whatever, and it's just not nearly as fun and as addictive. And really, it's really hard to make a game purely based on gameplay alone, where there's no story and whatever. And I think Left 4 Dead 2, it's been able to pull it off for essentially a much longer time than a lot of other games have been able to. And the mod community, again, has kept this game alive really, really well. It's just a wonderful game, frankly, in my opinion. And it really, again, doesn't need a story to, really, survive, essentially. What really also drives this game are the character interactions. The amount of times I've heard quotes from this game and this trailer are just insane. It really just feels appropriate. Coach is probably my favorite character, along with Nick, because they're both kind of sadistic assholes. Well, not sadistic, but they're kind of very matter-of-fact, and they're kind of like, what is this? I also love Ellis, because he's kind of the cornball of the group, where, he's just trying to, get by or whatever, but he's not really able to, And like, he's not an intellectual at all. He's really kind of, and so he has a lot of very funny dialogue. The original cast of the Left 4 Dead games, like Lewis and the rest of them, and Zoe and whatever, they're okay, but the Left 4 Dead 2 class is much, much better. Like, they're just way funnier. And again, so aside from the normal zombies, you also have special zombies like the smoker that'll like grab you, the charger that can hit you and, take out a person and incapacitate them. And then, of course, you have the vomiter or something, or the puker or something, and they're basically considered like the special units. Of course, there's also the hunter, which will jump on you, and so basically the way it works is they'll incapacitate you in some way so that your other teammates need to be watching you so that they can help you get up, because it's the only way that they can really, help out. There's a charger. And again, they only have a little bit more health, but not so much. Another big addition they added to Left 4 Dead 2 is that basically you can use melee weapons. And so instead of just having a sidearm, melee weapons do a lot more sort of area of effect damage, and they're a lot more, I guess, useful overall. They're all very, very funny, like little mini games and whatever. And sort of like things like side objectives that you have to do that kind of don't make a lot of sense. For example, in the first level, you have to like get this bottle of Coke and give it to this guy in like this, I don't know what to call it, this little like box or whatever. And once you give him his Coke, then he'll like let you through. But you have to like go into this other, area and basically get it from him. And of course, the other major zombie class is, of course, the tank, and that's really the real boss that shows up usually at the end of a level or kind of like to the midpoint of a level, and it's basically considered one of the major enemies. They play like their own theme for it, and of course you can mod the song for whatever plays during that encounter. I think we'll borrow the Doom shotgun for this, and we'll bring Ebony Ivory out. Again, not all mods are perfect. I used to have a mod that went into third-person mode, and I still have it installed, but for some reason it's just not working anymore. I'm not sure why, but yeah. But the main objective of any Left 4 Dead 2 map, or Left 4 Dead map in general, is basically to get from one safe house to the next. So you'll start in this one area where you have a bunch of loadouts, your guns and whatever, and so your main objective is to get to the other end of the map. And so along the way you get different kinds of shotguns. I think there's 2 types. One that's like actually 3 types of shotguns, a few types of assault rifles, and a bunch of other things similar to that. And so of course the farther you go into the world, the more kind of the more dangerous the enemies become, and the better weapons you get. But yeah, I've played it so many times over the years with different mods, different character models. It's just become so addictive and just like a second-hand nature almost. And again, I've put in like almost 200 hours into this game, more than Counter-Strike, more than any other multiplayer game. This is probably my most played game. No exaggeration whatsoever. And it's gotten to the point where I've almost memorized all the different scenarios and locations and exactly what to do for each area. Again, the gunplay seems very similar to games like Half-Life. It's very, intense and fast-paced and very accurate. And again, I've over the year just, maximized my mod outfit to just be the perfect set of arrangements. Of course, it's not very easy to change out the character models, but it's generally pretty easy to at least manage them with a mod manager. And there's one built into Left 4 Dead 2, which makes it very easy. Of course, another mini-game boss or a very powerful, one is the Witch. And so if you start the Witch, she'll come after you and basically pin you down, basically. And she's very, very hard to beat. I used to have a mod that would turn into a Hatsune Miku or a Skull Kid, and they no longer work, sadly. But yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 is just a really well-made game, and, the community around it, mod support has been really good. Usually when you install things into Left 4 Dead 2 in the main menu, it'll tell you certain things like, whether or not you have conflicting mods, and sometimes it'll still work even they say they are conflicting. But yeah, there's mods for every weapon, every sub-item. So you have, all of your different kinds of shotguns, rifles, pistols, etc. You have an array of like lots and lots of different melee weapons, from like axes to machetes, daggers, and all that kind of stuff. You also have a series of throwables, which involve Molotov cocktails, pipe bombs, and just attraction gas or something, or a toxic liquid. You also have healing packs that you use to you have to stand still and basically use them to basically heal yourself by holding it down while you're vulnerable and your other teammates cover you. You also have exploding ammo and fire ammo that you can place, and then you have the last faction, which is kind of like stimulants and boosters, which boost your speed or give you a fake health boost, essentially, as pills. Pills here, as Lewis would say. But yeah, there's just something very special with Left 4 Dead 2, especially the fact that you can always play with friends online. It just is a great experience, a lot of fun. And again, with mods, this whole game becomes a lot more engaging. And there's quite a few objectives where someone has to carry like an item, and basically the rest of the people have to like cover you as you go into, a battle. Basically, I think the most iconic one is probably refueling the Jimmy Gibbs car. And Alex won't shut it up about Jimmy Gibbs Jr. and his kind of hillbilly antics. I found that to be really entertaining. But yeah, definitely one of the best multiplayer games Valve has released, and of course, yes, it is still, only 2, games. They refused to release a third one, and everyone who's ever tried, or at least for Back 4 Blood, has never really succeeded. Again, even years after this game came out, it's really impressive how much the animations are like alive and how the enemies still react to gunfire. It's still something that sadly has not really been surpassed. It's kind of unfortunate, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. It's just a really good game. The mods for me make it a very worthwhile experience. And I don't know, it's just again, it's the game I've played the most, so I can't even say that it's bad or anything. Like the gameplay hours kind of speak for themselves, honestly. And the amount of times I've messed around with this game, the main menu, there's mods for literally everything. Even the posters, the concert songs, you can mod them to essentially be like from Sonic Adventure 2, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, you can definitely play Left 4 Dead 2, the normal, quote-unquote normal way, but that to me is just incredibly boring. You'll go through, the environments through kind of New Orleans, and there's multiple things where, they blow up a bridge, and each one is kind of divided into a different segment or a different gimmick. One has an exploding bridge, one has like a bunch of scaffolding, this kind of Louisiana parade float that you need to escort, basically. They're pretty creative with how they do things, even though it's kind of still very based in reality somewhat. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I love this game. It's incredibly addictive, and the segments are divided like 10-minute long missions, really, so it makes it incredibly fun to play, and very, focused, short, fun. It's just really good overall, and it's just a joy to play. I don't really think I need to say any more about it. Anyway, guys, Left 4 Dead 2, definitely one of the best shooters ever made, one of the best multiplayer games. Valve just, ends up hitting these all out of the park, but unfortunately, the different thing is to do with the era of zombies, but, fortunately, I think we'll not see a return to that kind of era. And for better or for worse, zombie games are kind of done, thankfully. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys later.